Hey there, welcome to Science Flixtion. My name's Salim Suterwalla, and as always, I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Carl Eames. Carl, how are you doing today?
Um, I'm okay, just doing all right. Didn't really get to do much in this beautiful heat wave that we have today, but been enjoying it all week. How about what's going on your side?
Pretty good. This has been hanging out with friends, working, staying active, all of the above. I've decided to continue watching Ultimate Spider-Man to finish that. They do a Spider-Verse episodes. That's kind of interesting. Um, they have like they have Spider Girl, Spider Ham, Spider Noir, um, Spider 2099, Miles Morales. Um, yeah. So I don't know if there's another one. I'm on part three so far. There's a part four, so we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, I'm finishing that through, and I think there's like one more season left after this one. So we'll see how it ends. Um, it's kind of itching for their MCU Spider-Man that comes out next. So whenever that comes out, I'm going to be watching that a lot. But yeah, that's all I've been doing, man. Nothing crazy at all for me. Yeah, that's about it.
Alrighty then. Well, we got a lot to talk about today on science fiction. We've got some fast flicks. We've got actually two movies. Well, not two movies, but two video game related properties. So we can call this the video game episode. We're going to talk about Super Mario Brothers movie came out last week, and The Last of Us, which is a HBO Max original series, started in January and wrapped up about a month ago. So we're just going to cover both of those today. I am your resident video game person, so I have played games from both of these franchises. So I have the personal perspective where Salim has, well, I don't know about your Mario experience, but I know you haven't played The Last of
Oh
Us,
yeah,
right?
Mario. Yeah, I mean, everyone's like it's mostly playing when it's like Xbox, and I played Xbox and stuff, but I really didn't get deep into that stuff. But like Mario, it's Nintendo. It's yeah, I played a ton of Mario.
Alrighty, well, we'll go ahead and get
Yeah,
right
so
into it.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff, all that stuff. Yeah. So the first fast flick, if you want to go ahead and play the video. So the first one is looks like the Penguin is in production. There's a teaser for that. I think you had linked here. Um, did you want to yeah, go ahead and play that?
This this is one of those moments you gotta ask yourself, what kind of life do I want? The world ain't built for guys like us. That's why we gotta take whatever we decide is ours. Those Carmine Falco's right in, trying to push me out. Whoa, hey! You ain't seen what I can do. If you step out of line, even once, I'll gut you like a goddamn fish. Can you imagine the people saying my name on the streets after you're gone? Have it mean something? The new kingpin of Gotham.
There's a trailer for the Penguin. Yeah, they're digging into the mafia style Penguin. Uh, it's, that's what they're going with. It looks like his rise to. Now this is supposed to be like between, um, like after the uh first Batman, right? Like
Right.
uh between that and the movie and what is basically what he's going to be doing to take over Falcone's, because since he's gone, Falcone's gone, so now he's gonna try to take over the crime, become like the Don or whatever of Gotham's underground crime or mafia or whatever. So yeah, I mean, obviously they don't. They give you some good. They give you clips and about and then in the trailer, but not a whole lot else in there. But what are your thoughts generally after watching that?
Yeah, it's not a terribly exciting trailer, but it still looks like it's a show worth watching. Just
Mhm.
to continue on with the Batman, because it's such a good movie. Colin Farrell was really great as the Penguin, and it'll be interesting to see what they do in this. Like, obviously he's going to be trying to be the kingpin of Gotham, as he said, but like, what how significant is this movie going to be towards the movie, and where will they continue to build from here? Because we already know that they're doing like multiple series for, which, by the way, quick, they rebranded from HBO Max to Max now, so it is a Max series coming sometime next year. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with other properties in that regard. Which, by the way, I don't think, did we even talk about it? Maybe I forgot to put on there that or maybe it's just a rumor, that the next Batman movie is supposed to feature Clayface. I think he's supposed to be
Oh
like,
no, I didn't.
yeah, I think he's the main villain,
Nice,
or in a very least, he's going to be in the movie.
nice. So they're see that good. They're bringing in the mystic parts of the comic book verse. Like they're not keeping it just like the way that the Christopher Nolan series was, where they're taking away from the the supernatural side of it. So that's good. That'd be cool. I mean, Clayface is a pretty big. He's not like one of Batman's biggest villains, obviously. Maybe it won't be Clayface alone.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't remember if he's the main villain or if he's just gonna be in the movie with someone else.
I kind of compare him. Maybe it's not the exact comparison, but kind of like Sandman to and the level of villain that he is in Spider Man. Uh, I feel like they're comparable. So like he would be good as a major villain for sure, but like I don't know if he would be the only one. Like there, I'd imagine there's somebody else, and maybe like the Penguin will be back and he'll be like more control of like the mob or whatever, and he'll be there as far as trying to uh direct Clayface or hire Clayface or something like that to take out the Batman or something like that. I would maybe just kind of spitballing there, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be more using Clayface's shape shifting abilities, like he's gonna be um transforming into other people, like taking their place and stuff like that, which you would do, which again, like, he wouldn't be the main villain, just like chameleon and Spider-Man is never usually the main, because he's not much of a threat. He's just like doing stuff in the background and you don't know because he's in disguise, and then all of a sudden he's exposed and you take him down. Clayface a lot more powerful than chameleon, but still, like, and when you get to that point, then you can have a big fight with Clayface and show off some cool visual effects and figure out how to take him down, stuff like that. Yeah,
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, so that'd be interesting. Any final thoughts on the Penguin stuff?
that'll do it.
All right. So the next fast flick. I mean, we kind of talked about this last week. But they've said that they're bringing back Morena Baccarin, and Stefan Kapisic to return as Vanessa and Colossus. So obviously we knew about the Vanessa part because we discussed it
Last week it was more they were just talking. So they're officially in now. Like they're just negotiating the contracts and stuff.
Yeah. So she's being brought back, and he's going to be Colossus, as Colossus. He was Colossus, obviously, in the first one. Yeah, I mean, like we really don't know. We still don't know anything about this movie, obviously, since they're still filming it. Um, we'll find out. Like, I mean, like I think like wasn't there like rumors that they were doing something similar to Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, like something like that. But then I'm not sure. I thought that was like a rumor, but that was never
I don't know.
confirmed or anything like that. Um, because he does go to the different universe and starts slicing and dicing. But I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, like it'll be interesting to see what they do. We'll see what other characters they bring back as far as the Fox universe X-Men are concerned. Will be interesting if they add any more as they keep making announcements here. But yeah, any thoughts on these two? Like I liked Colossus and in the first two Deadpool, he was kind of a funny small side character.
Yeah, so not X-Men or mutants or whatever, but already confirmed by Ryan Reynolds that Karen Sony and Leslie Uggams are coming back as Dopinder and Blind Al. So they were in the previous movies, so they'll be back as well as Vanessa and Colossus. So um, there's some other cast members I'm not familiar with them, and they don't exactly have a role yet, but at least not publicly displayed. But in the very least, there'll be more news on this movie as it comes out. But like you said, we don't really know. We just know Wolverine's in it. That's Hugh Jackman's coming back. So that's the big name. But other than that, what exactly they're going to do, we don't know.
Yeah. Any thoughts there? Can we move on?
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Next fast flick is they released the trailer for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So we'll go ahead and play that real quick, and then we'll give our thoughts on it.
I'm retiring.
Well, in that case, what are we drinking?
Same for the goddaughter.
Dad told me you found something on a train during the war. A dial that could change the course of history.
Why are you chasing the thing that drove your father crazy? Don't move.
We need to get out of here. Stop! Sorry.
Helena! Dr. Jones, get him. Hitler made mistakes, and with this, I will correct them all. You stole it. Then you stole it.
And then I stole it. It's called capitalism.
This way!
Fasten your seatbelt. There might be some turbulence.
You've taken your chances, made your mistakes. And now a final triumph.
Give him hell, Indiana Jones! A few times in my life, I've seen things. I've been tortured with voodoo. Been shot 9 times, including once by your father. sorry. But I've been looking for this all my life.
That was the trailer for Dial of Destiny. Man, there's a lot of movies coming out. I'm gonna be in the theater all the time, I feel like. Like every
Yeah,
week
there's
I'm gonna be in the
every week
theater.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was I mean, it's a fun trailer. There's a lot of CGI with getting him look like his younger self. Even like I feel like even like an older Indiana Jones has been CGI'd a little bit to make him look not as old, like maybe a little younger. In certain scenes, it felt like, but um, or maybe just this my screen was being goofy. I don't know, but yeah, I mean it has the Indiana Jones feel to the trailer. It should be interesting. I'm definitely gonna watch it when it's in theaters. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I concur. I don't know. Still don't know like anything personally about Indiana Jones, so I'm gonna do my best to try to watch the movies because I still don't think they're on Disney Plus or anything else that's like subscription based. So I have to like rent them to watch them, so I can actually get caught up on what's going on with the series because I have no idea. But I am
Mhm.
interested, and yeah, like the de-aging tech that they have is still really good. Like the last teaser trailer, I was like, is that footage from the old movies or is this new? Because I couldn't tell. And like, yeah, it looks really, really, really good. So I assume it's not going to be a lot of scenes like that, but they're throwing that in there just kind of a flex, I think. Just like yeah, we can make them look like young Indy, and yeah, I'm interested in seeing what this is all about, and it looks and again he can't do too many stunt work sort of things, so I do see like in this trailer he's not exactly moving around a whole bunch. And then obviously a stuntman is doing any kind of more extensive stunts for Harrison Ford. But yeah, I still think it'll be a cool movie. I'm actually more looking forward to binging all of these older ones to see how he moves about in those.
Yeah, the older ones are really fun. The Shia LaBeouf one didn't do much. It wasn't too good, but I don't know how relevant that one will be to this one. So I don't know how important it will be for you to watch that. I'll check it out if you are, anyways. Like if you're checking them all out, might as well, just in
Mhm.
case, so you don't miss out on anything. In case they do drop some stuff about that one. I know. I think they might passingly mention Shia LaBeouf's character, who's supposed to be his son, because that's who he is in that movie. And obviously he's not in this, so it's interesting that they didn't just recast him instead of just said, "Nah, we're just not gonna have you in this character in here in general." So that's interesting as well. But yeah, it should be like I said, it should be a fun movie. We'll excited to check it out in a couple of months when it's in theaters. Any final thoughts there?
Get move on. Talk about some
Uh,
DC's Creature Commandos. We got a
yeah,
full
yeah.
on.
So the full cast of
Go
yes,
ahead.
the full cast was released of DC's Creature Commandos. Is that one of the movies? Not movie. Sorry, it's going to be a show, correct? That's going to
That's right.
be cartoon, and it's going to be voiced actors playing doing these characters, and so they released a full one. Obviously, I think one of them was Sean Gunn. Uh, uh, James Gunn's brother, who's obviously in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He's going to be Weasel, joined by other stuff like that. I saw Rick Flag Sr., played by Frank Grillo, Maria Baklova as Princess Ilana Rostov. There's a few other characters in here. think Alan Tudyk plays Dr. Phosphorus. David Harbour is in it too, as was Eric Frankenstein. Yeah, there's a bunch of characters listed as well. I think I didn't get the full list. Did you have the full list?
Yeah, it's as well as Steve Agee is coming back as John Economos, so he'll be there. Just to note that if, again, Weasel, Sean Gunn is being voiced by Weasel. The Suicide Squad movie, Weasel was in that movie, and that was also Sean Gunn. So just like James Gunn said in that big announcement that they were going to try to have the voice actors for this show also play the live action versions of these characters when they show up in the future.
Right. It looks like Sean Gunn also is a GI robot. He's gonna be uh also voicing that. So he's gonna do like a 2 for I guess I don't think that I can't remember. Weasel doesn't have lines, right? He just has probably just makes random noises. So maybe that's Sean Gunn. I don't know if actually any words. Does he speak
In the
words?
Suicide Squad movie, I don't
I can't
remember him
remember.
having like actual words, but he like make noises and stuff, and
Yeah, right,
cannon
right.
fodder.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
he
that's
actually, remember, he
I
didn't
mean,
die. Remember, he didn't die in that movie.
no, he didn't. Like they think he's dead, but he's
Right.
actually in the end. They show him he's actually alive. Um, yeah. So it's fun. Like it should be fun. It should be interesting. I don't know a lot about the cartoon itself or like the characters itself. That part of DC, or the Creature Commandos in general. I should say. I'm guessing it's pretty similar to like the Marvel where they have um they have like similar like a monsters squad because like Werewolf by Night's part of that group with a couple other characters. I think Hulk is part of that. Some stuff can't remember on top of my head. But yeah, it should be interesting for sure. Any other final thoughts there as we get into or should we get to our final two shows or things topic of discussion?
Well, we have the trailer for the Marvels that dropped. Was that yesterday, the day
Oh
before?
yeah, that's right. I totally I had a brain for it there. My bad. Yeah, so the Marvels trailer we have that drop on the 9th. So yeah, let's go ahead and play that really quick.
Captain Rambo? What the hell are you doing?
Entering the jump point perimeter. I'm gonna get you some readings, Fury. Hello? Hello?
Captain Rambo?
Is this an Avengers test?
Where's Captain Rambo?
What the? Hi.
We're looking for Kamala Khan.
Okay, so our powers are entangled. I can manipulate light energy. And you...
I could totally show you.
No, I'm not again. Hi.
Where's our daughter?
Wherever you were.
Shields up!
We're a team.
No, we're not a team.
We're not a team.
So that was the trailer for the Marvels. It looks. I mean, we don't really don't know what it's gonna be about. Like the trailer doesn't give much away outside of just having random clips, and again, you see them like switching. Like so. Well, I should say we get clarity on the because we were kind of confused at the end of Ms. Marvel when we were like, oh, is she actually still her and she just turned into like looks like Captain Marvel now, or did they actually switch spots? So yeah, now we've kind of get a clear answer on that they actually switch spots. Like where Kamala is Captain Marvel ends up Linda Danvers that is, Carol
Right.
Danvers that is, and then Carol Danvers goes to where Kamala is, so vice versa.
Well, then you
But
have
yeah,
Monica's also in there too. So is
oh yeah,
Carol, Monica,
Rambo, that's right,
and Kamala.
And Rambo, Monica Rambo, correct. I mean, it looks like it could be a fun movie. Like it looks like a lighthearted. Um, like I said, not a lot to take away from the trailer, so it's hard to have a real opinion on if it's going to be good or not. I've seen a lot of people have opinions on it, but obviously people are waiting to hate it. But
Yeah, they don't even
like I
have
said,
opinions on the trailer. They have opinions on Brie Larson, which is completely
yeah,
different.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, there was also opinions on Ms. Marvel too, like so. It is what it is. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, but like I said, I mean, it looks like it could be fun. We'll find out how what happens once we find out more about the movie. I'm sure there'll be more understanding on what the plot line might be, if you will, once they release another trailer, maybe down the line, or um, and that's the other interesting. So, like we talked about last, I think it was last show when we said Samuel Jackson has two movies left. So I guess this is one of the movies. And we'll see if he's in the trailer for Captain America 4 New World Order. Maybe that's the second movie. And then obviously after that, if they could extend him, and I imagine maybe he'll be back for like Secret Wars. But um, yeah, so I think that's one of the movies that Sam Jackson talked about in December that he's going to be contracted for. So yeah, what are your thoughts watching the trailer?
Yeah, so like I said, it's not a ton. This is just teaser trailer, so they're not putting too much out there right now, but I am surprised that they dropped it so soon, especially since I mean the movie was originally supposed to come out in July, but it got
Hmm.
pushed to November. So we're not going to see this movie for another 6 months, and we already have a trailer. And so I do wonder when they're going to actually push out the official trailer with a little bit more spice, because again, we're not getting anything Marvel related in the fall. As far as movies go, we're getting probably um, what's the other show that's coming out after Secret Invasion? I was gonna say Armor Wars, but that's a movie now. But yeah,
Right.
this something else I can't remember off the top. Oh,
When is
well, what if?
Ironheart?
What
What
if
if?
and
That's right. What
Ironheart?
if?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so those
that's
and
what I
then
thought.
X-Men, but still, no movies are going to be coming out in the fall for Marvel, and they needed something because of Blade getting delayed. They needed something to come out in the fall, the late fall. So that's why they pushed the Marvels there. But one thing in this trailer that it can gather, because if you remember Ronan the Accuser, he was in the first Captain Marvel movie, but that was a 90s flashback, set piece movie. So he was younger. And then his first real appearance in the MCU was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, which he died. But in this movie, which taking place in modern day, there is a new accuser, but not Ronan. It's someone else that has the hammer. That woman that was in the trailer, but there was also someone behind her that actually had the same outfit that Ronan the Accuser has. It just clearly is not him because he's dead, but they still were wearing the exact same outfit. But the woman in front of him or them, I don't know who the person was with the accuser outfit on, but the actual person holding the hammer was that woman walking in front of them. So I'm curious on who that is and what role they play. Um, but yeah, that's it. For what it's worth, I did expect them to have a fight scene between at least Carol and Monica, but it seems like it's Monica and Kamala fighting Carol. So I don't know. Obviously we can't figure out why just yet. But I'm
I mean, I was wondering if that was maybe more training. Could have been like a training scene, them training to fight.
yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they would have beef with each other, but
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, we don't know why. That's why I was expecting Carol and Monica to fight because they have some things they need to work out. Given that Monica's mother Maria died while Carol was gone off in space and not at all coming back for 20, 30 years. The
she was
last
kind of
time
didn't know where she was. She kind of didn't know who she was.
who
I don't know
Carol?
why. Yeah, she didn't know who she was. She kind of just was out there
She didn't
completely.
have to leave planet Earth. She's an Earthling. She's part Kree, but like she still had Monica there and Maria, her friend, and didn't come back for 20 ish, 25 years, 30 years. That's kind of messed up. I would be mad.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they actually have real beef. I don't know. It didn't seem like there'd be reason to, but well, we'll find out.
Well,
Any final thoughts?
before we move on to our main feature, I do have some quick hits. I just want to go through very quickly. So I don't have any slides or anything, but just some stuff that's happened in the last couple weeks. That I just want to just mention in passing, kind of. If you had some comments on the stuff, Salim, just go ahead and interrupt me. It's not a big deal. First off, there was a Scott Pilgrim announcement. So the Scott Pilgrim show is going to be there's going to be an animated show with everyone from the original live action Scott Pilgrim movie reprising their roles as you know, Michael Cera's coming back, Chris Evans, Aubrey Plaza, Brie Larson, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, etc. Everyone's coming back and reprising their roles for the animated series for Scott Pilgrim. Also in animation, Stranger Things is getting an animated series on Netflix, which I don't know if it's a continuation or a spinoff or anything like that. They just announced it a couple days ago. Then there's Todd McFarlane. He is no longer going to be directing the Spawn movie, which I don't know how much we've talked about that here, but there is a Spawn movie that's been in the works for a long time. Jamie Foxx is attached to that movie to play Spawn. Apparently, there's going to be more A-list people uh, in this movie, at least what Todd McFarlane's teasing, but he's not going to be the director anymore. So I don't think they've named any replacement directors whatsoever. We're going to go ahead and do a quick peek at here. We have Nathan Fillion as well. I don't know who he is quite yet, but this is from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Nathan Fillion is going to be in that movie. Definitely not going to be Simon Williams because we already have someone playing that role in the MCU. So he's going to be some other character. We also have a quick look at Sylvester Stallone, also in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which he was already in the previous Guardians movie, playing one of the original comic book Guardians of the Galaxy. I forget which one, but he's coming back. So I assume there's going to be the rest of that crew because half of them were like CG in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 towards that end of that movie. We have quickly Stephen Amell is coming back as Green Arrow for the Flash final season. So we're going to be redoing Arrowverse. I don't know to what extent, but he's going to be back as Green Arrow. And then this past weekend was Star Wars Celebration somewhere. I think it was in London. I'm not 100% sure. Star Wars Celebration is a ton of Star Wars news out there. I'm not going to get to all of it. We don't talk a lot about Star Wars here, but I just wanted to mention First, it is the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. Right now, and to celebrate, one of the things they're doing is Return of the Jedi will be returning to theaters April 28th. So you can actually go to the theater and watch Return of the Jedi. And it would be really good because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out May 5th. If you are a May the 5th type of person, you can probably skip Guardians and watch Return of the Jedi. And then I don't know if there was an Ahsoka trailer, but in the very least, they did talk about Ahsoka and show some footage or show some pictures and posters and stuff. And that's supposed to be hitting Disney Plus in August. And one last thing I forgot to actually mention earlier with the animation, we talked about a long time ago during a DC fandom that was 2021 in November. One of the things that was brought up was the original creators for the Batman animated series from the 90s are remaking another series for Batman. It's going to be a little bit more grittier, a little more serious, but that was supposed to be on HBO Max. But we know since James Gunn and everything has taken over, they've cut a lot of stuff, a lot of content, a lot of animation in particular, and there won't be any well, that series is not going to be on HBO Max, but it was picked up by Amazon Prime. So it's still happening and it will be on Amazon Prime at some point whenever they get to it. So I don't know if that's this year or next year, but I'm still looking forward to that. But it's not going to be on Max.
Mhm.
All right. That's it for me.
All right. Cool. Yeah. So we can get into our main features. First one we're going to talk about is Mario, the Super Mario Brothers movie. We do have a trailer. We'll play that really quick, and then we'll get into our thoughts on the movie itself.
All right. Let's go.
Oh my god, okay.
Not sure if you know who I am, but I'm about to rule the world.
Wow, yay.
But there's one problem. There's a human, has a mustache, just like you.
Do you think I know every human being with a mustache wearing an identical outfit with a hat with the letter of his first name on it? Because I don't.
Bowser is coming. Together, we are going to stop that monster.
How? Look at us. We're adorable.
Oh, I got this. No problem. Yes!
Come on, Mario! Our big adventure begins now!
Get it off, get it off, get it off!
There's a huge universe out there
Whoa.
with a lot of galaxies. They're all counting on us. No pressure.
Wahoo!
That was the trailer for Super Mario Brothers movie. Yeah, I mean, me personally, like, so going into the movie, I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of surprised when I sat down to see the runtime. I was like, oh wow, it's a super short movie. Um, so they kept it like, they didn't waste too much time on random things. It's kind of funny how, because obviously, there was a whole conversation about, him doing him saying he was doing an Italian the Italian accent. And the first part of the movie, they show them in that commercial, and he has the Italian accent, and it's kind of a joke to make you think that's how he's going to talk for the rest of the movie. But it turns out it was just for like the commercial that they're doing for their new business that they've started, their plumbing business that started. So that was kind of funny. Um, but my thoughts on the movie, like I thought it was a fun movie. Like it just honestly, it felt like a love letter to the Mario franchise. That's essentially what it was. It was throughout the movie they just did different things from the games and made that into part of the script, essentially. Um, and like I said, it was fun. Like it was, they had like all the different characters. Like, well, I remember that character. Oh, he's doing this power. Um, there was a few. I mean, maybe if they make a sequel, which I'm imagining they will, like they had a bunch of different characters, but I was surprised like they didn't have like all of um like Koopa's sons, um all the different ones that he has. Like how many, I can't remember how many he has because I know in like
A lot.
is it the yeah, he has a lot, but I can't remember. Is it the fourth game where you fight like when they first appear and you're fighting them all and
The
each
third
end of
game.
each level? Is the third game, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, to me, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie. And obviously, there's like I said, a bunch of different little Easter eggs that show, like in the commercial, for example, when they're flying with the capes. That's one of the powers, the yellow capes, the super power ups that he can get when he can um, through the block. Um, the mystery boxes there, and then throughout the movie they have like the mystery boxes that he can hit to get the different power ups, where they're either the mushroom, the raccoon, the cat, um, the fire flowers, all that stuff is there. Um, there's also like they have like the pipes, the green pipes. That's how they essentially get into this alternate universe. Yeah, like all those little different things that are there. They also have like a scene where you're essentially doing the Mario Kart. It's really cool. It's fun. So I liked it. Like I said, I mean, it might not be like the best ever video game movie ever, but like it's interesting to me. Like I've seen a lot of criticism about this, and I was confused by it mainly because like a lot of times people hate when they make movies about a video game, and it's not anything like the video game. This was essentially the video game. So like I didn't, and I thought the storyline was good. Other thing, I love Jack Black as doing the voice of Bowser. That song or these sings in there like was stuck in my head for like that he sings about Peach. Um, I was stuck in my head like for the last couple of days after, especially when he's like doing the chorus or whatever it is. He's getting all emotional and really getting into
Peaches,
it because he's
peaches,
like a
peaches, peaches, peaches,
peaches,
peaches,
right?
peaches, 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 peaches. Ow!
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that kind of reminds you of like the Tenacious D because he has that band that he does when he's singing on that. But yeah, like I said, I thought it was a fun movie, and like I mean, it's one of those things where you see like the difference between the general audience reaction and the critics reaction is like, what were you guys expecting here? I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing the critics; they were slamming it pretty hard, right? Like I think going
Yeah.
into it, Rotten Tomatoes it was like 46% or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was like, oh no, don't make this movie bad. But I don't care. We'll go see it anyway. For
Right.
me, I went to go see it last week on Wednesday, and completely, I don't have kids or anything like that, so I don't
Right. Right.
run on that schedule. Didn't realize it
Right.
was spring break, so I saw it at noon at like 12:30. So the theater was
Hmm.
like the earliest showing possible for that day for last Wednesday, and it was pretty full. Like it was tons of kids and with their parents and stuff like that. I only saw it because I did the double feature. I saw Dungeons and Dragons last week as well, and I saw that afterwards. So I saw
Mhm.
this super early, but I had to see it in 3D. Did you watch it in 3D or in 2D?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it in 3D. I mean, this movie probably could have been a cool movie to watch in 3D. If you think about it, but I I accidentally purchased a 3D ticket and I returned it. I was like, I never do 3D. So, but then I thought about it. It's like, you know what? This probably wouldn't have after the fact, after I watched it, I was like, you know what? This movie actually probably could have been cool in 3D. But yeah, I didn't watch it in 3D.
Well, yeah. So, in the very least, I'm going to blame the theater more so on this one because the first, I don't remember if you remember watching the teaser trailer, which is basically the beginning of the movie with the
Mhm,
Bowser and the penguins and stuff.
mhm,
So during that, and then everything before it, all the previews, trailers, and stuff, the 3D looked terrible. Um, and once it got to the movie, I was like, okay, it really shouldn't look this bad. I don't think it's. I thought it might have been the glasses because it looked like they're supposed to be like the glasses that just like kind of like a little tint to them, but it looked
mhm,
like the red and blue glasses. That's how bad it looked on in my vision. So I got up and talked to the front desk, but someone else was already complaining about it, and then l- right after they gave him a new pair of glasses, they gave me a new pair of glasses, and after I was walking back, like 4 or 5 other people were leaving the theater also complaining about it, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. Is it really that bad 3D, or is it the theater messing this up? So once that beginning part, because once I walked back in, it was about to end that sequence with the penguins. It was still bad, but then once that part was over, everything else was fine. So I don't know if they just fixed it or if that beginning part was bad or whatever it was. But the 3D itself for the rest of the movie, it wasn't anything terribly special. It was
okay.
just okay. So I don't think you're really missing out on much by not watching it in 3D, at least not in this case.
Was like the
But I
Mario Kart scene, like the Mario Kart scene wasn't cool in 3D?
it nothing really stood out to me because I don't think they made it with the intent of it needs to be like 3D, stuff like that flying at you.
Okay.
The only thing that was cool was like the fire embers floating across the
Mhm.
screen. Those always look cool. But I don't think you're missing out on a whole bunch. At the same time, the only 3D movie that I've ever enjoyed was the original Avatar movie, which I don't even enjoy the movie, but I thought the 3D in that movie was spectacular, and every other 3D movie I've ever seen was just like whatever. So there's that. Um, so yeah, in general, yeah, I thought the movie was really fun, and like I said, it was short and sweet. It wasn't the greatest narrative in the world, but it was
Yeah.
enough to get the job done and still be a fun movie. Like you said, I really enjoyed the Mario Kart stuff, in
Yeah.
particular because it wasn't a joke, it wasn't a throwaway scene or just like a quick
Mhm.
little moment in the movie just to be an Easter egg. It was like an actual extended part, integral. Like this is how they get around, and this is something that the Kongs do. They are the ones responsible for all these tricked out Mario carts and buggies and
Mhm.
motorcycles and all of the weapons. They have a strong arm. It was like a big part of the movie. It wasn't a small thing. So I thought that was really neat. And also going to Rainbow Road. If you ever played the Mario Kart and you fall off Rainbow Road, it's basically a endless pit, and you have to be saved by one of the people that save you. But they actually put a bottom to it and had water there, and there was monsters and stuff.
Mhm.
So that was really neat, and I really appreciated that. I do wish I like they used a cat suit and they used I think they used the Tanuki suit, the raccoon one. But like you said,
Yeah.
the super one with the capes was in the commercial. I actually
Right,
wish
right.
that wasn't in the commercial. I wish that was like how they ended the movie. Like he basically
That could
became
have been.
Superman and like
Yeah.
got the power up star, gets the cape, and then like kicks Bowser's butt like with the cape. That would have been super cool to me. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was fine that they were playing like superheroes in the commercial. too. That was all right. Um, and then like with the voices, again, Jack Black is outstanding. Um, one of my favorite just entertainers in general. Like I'm not into Tenacious D, but I'm not against them either because of Jack Black is there. And uh, every time I remember when they were like making music and every time the videos would come on, I didn't like, oh God, it's rock music or whatever. It was more like that guy's really cool. Like he's having a good
Yeah,
time there. And he always has. Like I always love School of Rock and stuff like that. So him
yeah,
him as Bowser in this movie was already a slam dunk, like once that was announced. And he
yeah,
delivered like 100%. By far the
yeah.
best part of the movie, and not even a doubt in my mind about that. No, no question there. Um, as far as everyone else's go, I wouldn't say they phoned in their voices, but for the most part, everyone didn't really have a unique voice. Like especially Seth Rogen, like he already admitted that he does not do voices when he has voiceover work. He just uses his own voice. So his Donkey Kong was just Seth Rogen, but it works fine because I kind of can see Seth Rogen being Donkey Kong. Like that's all right with me. Um,
Well, I think
and as far as
he also picks voice characters that are like that. Like when he plays
right,
Pumbaa, like those are the voices that fit those characters. Like it just works.
yeah, yeah, he's not like
Like you
out of his
don't
element when being Donkey Kong or Pumbaa or anything
right,
like that. Like that works exactly
right,
for
right.
you. You don't necessarily have to try, but like I said, it wasn't phoned in, but like Anya Taylor Joy's voice, that's her voice, and like she didn't like it's not she didn't give a bad performance. It's just not a different voice. Chris Pratt's voice was Chris Pratt's voice. I don't know how hard he was trying. Though I did get mad like during that commercial again because it was right at the beginning of the movie. I was like, oh my god, is Chris Pratt actually trying to give an Italian voice right now? I was like, this sounds perfect. This is great. And then they like troll you. So I don't
Right.
know if you were aware, but that like right after that commercial, there was that other fat Italian guy in the overalls in the commercial, or right after the commercial. That's the actual voice for the actual Mario in the video games. The guy that voices Mario in the video games was that character. I think he popped up a
Right.
couple times
Okay.
in the movie. His
Okay.
name's
Right, right.
Charles Marionette or something like that. But he's the actual voice for Mario, so he is in the movie. It would have been like they could have legitimately done this movie with his voice, and it would have been fine. But I think the idea is that, and why they trolled with the commercial at front was the voice is so stereotypical Italian, is so strong and so accented that this movie is made for pretty much American audiences. In the very least, with
Mm.
Chris Pratt, they wanted to be a little bit easier to understand, a little bit not as harsh and so on. And then yeah, it wasn't necessarily the star power, but just getting someone to just have a regular English voice and just play it off as, oh, they're giving Italian just to stereotype and make it seem like, yeah, we're plumbers and this is what we do. We're Italians and stuff like that. I did think it was funny though that he didn't like mushrooms at all.
Yeah.
And then obviously had to eat mushrooms later on. I was like, oh, we're gonna do that joke, huh? Um, but yeah, it was a really fun movie. Uh, Doing gangbusters right now. It is the highest grossing movie of 2023 so far. I think it's at 400 million worldwide. It is a lot of people really like this. I haven't seen anyone outside of critics say that they don't
Yeah.
like the movie.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like I don't know what the critics are complaining about. This is like the whole thing where where critics complain about like King Kong versus Godzilla. It's like what the hell are you like what are you watching? Like where are you going in there expecting? Like I would have been like I said, well, that's the one thing I always interesting to me. Like people complain when video game movies are not anything to do with the video game and they change things around. This is essentially the video game. Like that's what they did. They took all the different video games and made it into a movie. Like I'm sure they'll do sequels now, and they'll bring in more characters as they make more sequels. Like, I wonder like if Daisy will appear at some point. I wonder, like I said, Bowser's all different sons. But they had a quick one little Diddy Kong, like, hey Diddy, stop it, and then he
Yeah.
wasn't in the movie at all. So maybe he'll be in the next movie more.
And Yoshi had one scene,
Yeah,
or they
Yoshi.
were
Well, the
Yoshis, but
bunch
then
of
they had
Yoshis, but then
yeah,
the post
the at the
credit,
end. Yeah.
that they're showing Yoshi himself, uh, like his egg cracking, the green one, obviously because he's green. Um, so yeah, I mean, like I said, they had everything in there that was made you like, and you get also they showed like the baby versions of them. That's another from
Yeah, that was
part of the
crazy
game.
too. I forgot about that. I was like, they
Yeah,
look
yeah,
exactly like
yeah.
they do in the game, like pitch perfect.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. So like, yeah, I'm like I said, definitely worth watching to me. Like it's enjoyable. I mean, do you need to see it in a theater? I don't think it's necessary. Like I don't think you get much more out of it in the theater compared to watching at home. But like I said, it's a fun movie. It's a good movie. I think it's doing, like I said, he's doing really well in the box office, and it's justifiable. Um, so yeah, I hope they make a second one. It'll be fun. Like I said, I liked it. Like they had it was good stuff. Other thoughts that you wanted to
I
talk about
I do think that
in regards to
it
the
would
movie?
be a good movie worth bringing your. I mean, like the kid aspect of it. Like I said, the theater was
Gosh,
packed full of kids, so for somebody like myself or like you, Salim, we could have watched it at home and got the same out of it.
right.
But if you do have a family uh,
That's
full of
true. That's
youngins
fair.
and that watching kids, this is the type of movie that they would like. And I didn't realize going into it who was making this movie. Illumination Studios, which is the same people that made the Minions movies and Despicable Me and all of
Hmm.
those types. So the animation style is that. But I didn't realize that this is actually the first time I've watched any movies from that studio because when they had that whole roster of movies, I was like, nope, I haven't seen a single one of those, but I know of
Never
them,
watched
and I
any
know,
of. You never watched any of like the Despicable Me's?
nope,
Interesting.
nope, 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 not a single one. So yeah, like none of those movies really did anything for me, like to catch my interest. And again, I don't have kids, so I don't have to force myself to watch them. Even if they, if my kids wanted to watch them, I would watch them. But I don't have any, and then like I said, nothing really grabbed my attention. So nope, never watched any of those. But one thing I did like, and it's a decent change because Peach's character is very different. I won't say very different, but she is different enough from the video game side of it. Still a princess, but I think there is a Princess Peach game that she is she is the main character in that game.
Hmm.
It came out a while ago, maybe like 20 years ago. I never got to play it, so I can't fully say
Yeah,
that
I
they
haven't
did
played
this
that
or
either.
didn't do this in that game. But in this movie, they gave her a somewhat origin, and I thought that was pretty interesting because, again, on all of the classic games and even some of the more modern ones, they don't really talk about where she come from or if she's human or if she's from the real world and stuff like that. And they kind of imply that she just like accidentally went down a warp pipe as a baby or child and has been stuck in the mushroom kingdom ever since and was raised by all the different toad people and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, I don't really know if that's in the games or not, but giving her that origin was really cool. And then also that she's not some damsel in distress. Um, one, like, that's the premise of the original games, that she's always needing to be saved from the castle and stuff like that by Mario. They did joke with that early on, the princess is in another castle sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But for the most part, she was at least more capable than Mario at the beginning in running the courses
Yeah.
and the power ups and stuff like that. She was ready to fight, defend their kingdom, and stuff like that. And I thought that was really good for her character to be a little bit different and not just be a bubbly princess that needs to be saved all the time. However, they did one thing that is kind of maybe different also is in the games, in the most recent game, Mario Odyssey. This came out, I don't even know what year it was, honestly, but this is the most recent Mario game. One spoiler alert, towards the end of that game, the whole point again, Peach is kidnapped, uh and so towards the end of the game, she's kidnapped, but Bowser's trying to marry her. So that's the whole point of him kidnapping her, is that he wants to marry her. That is a gigantic engagement ring or wedding ring that is bigger than she is. And I don't see her frowning in this picture. This is directly from the game. I took the screenshot when I played this game like 4 or 5 years ago. Actually, no, it's like three or 4 years ago, and I still have it. So she ain't frowning. She's not in misery or in pain or anything like that. And this is when Mario busts through the door and catches them in the middle of the wedding ceremony. So they were about to get married if it wasn't for Mario coming through to interrupt the wedding. And then after that, Bowser and Mario fight. The actual fight, they are like on Earth or whatever planet they're supposed to be on. But they end up going to the moon and they fight on the moon. And then at the end of the fight, the whole thing is Peach has to choose between Mario and Bowser, and she just ends up choosing neither of them. And then they both fight to try to get off the moon. So I'm just saying, in the movie, she was like very much like, no, I would never marry you, Bowser. But in the game, I don't know. Just saying. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts?
That'll be it for Mario. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's get into The Last of Us. We do have the trailer. Uh, we could play that really quick, and then we'll give our thought on the show itself.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. Keep going for family.
I'm not family.
No? Your cargo.
Why are you so important? Somewhere out west, they're working on a cure. I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
If she so much as twitches, don't.
Okay.
If I'm taking you with me, do what I say when I say it. You got any advice on the best way west?
Yeah, go east. If you come this far, then you know what's out there.
You're not gonna scare us.
Scared him?
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Be careful who you put your faith in.
It might not be her father, but you're someone's.
You trust me?
All right, that was a trailer for The Last of Us. Yeah, I mean, so getting into it, like for me personally, like I enjoyed the show. I took it as like if it was The Walking Dead, but they cut off all the stupid BS from The Walking Dead and made it better, added more substance to it too. Like I really like how they explained how they become like essentially the zombies or whatever. Like they talk about in the show, obviously in the beginning of the show, they're going back in the time in like the 70s or whatever, and they're talking about how there's this a fungus that can that can go into certain living things, and when they go into those living things or anything, the host, they kind of take it's like a hallucinogen or whatever, and it messes up the person, the things and balance and whatever like that. And they said, but the only way that fungus can survive is if the temperature of that host is at like 94 degrees or something like that. But then they talk about how because they're talking about pandemics essentially about a pandemic that could happen, and he talks about and one of the scientists says that about a fungus that could do that, and that says, well, the concern there is if the if the if the earth all of a sudden gets really warm, the fungus will find a way to adapt to be able to live in warmer temperatures, and then because of that, we'll be able to go into humans who have a resting temperature of 98.6 essentially. Um, and then that's how this happens. And they're like, if that happens, we're all screwed and there's nothing to be done. We're dead. So yeah, that's the beginning of the show, and they get into that. And like I said, I enjoyed it. I like every episode almost seemed like they had their own season essentially. Like I kind of thought of it as like when I was like, and I don't know if I was just doing it because I was just comparing it to another zombie apocalypse show by like just doing it because like every episode I could see like The Walking Dead milking this for like 9 episodes of this one episode that was really good, milking it to 9 episodes. Each different episode has like a different like character or a main villain for that episode, and they're going through like that one where the preacher or whatever, and you find out he's actually really scumbag, and that whole and he's like a really bad guy. But then you also have obviously with Nick Offerman's character, like how he meets uh, for his significant other in the show, and then they
Mhm.
show them having entire life together, essentially. Um,
Yeah, Frank and
in the
Bill.
beginning, Frank and Bill, that's right. And then obviously they're also they show why um, Joel, the what makes him the way he is, because obviously, like the first scene, like when his daughter essentially she dies, like that shocked me. Like I hadn't played the game, so I had no idea like anything about it. Like I was like shocked. Oh wow, they actually killed the daughter off. Like I was really shocked about this. Um, that was pretty emotional. That was a tough scene to watch, and
Mhm.
that kind of makes up who he is for the whole entire show. Like him remembering him losing his daughter, and from then on, like his whole makeup is based around that the loss of his daughter and the fact that he couldn't stop that from happening. And then that's how his and Ali's relationship is formed around that. If he's guarded at first, but then he kind of becomes to a point where he sees her Ellie as his daughter, essentially. Um, but yeah, like I said, I thought it was really well done. Like I have no basis to compare to the actual video game, so I don't know how much they paid homage to the game. I don't know if a lot, and I haven't read anything online if the people that played the video games really loved it or not. I mean, there's a couple of friends that I have that played it, and they said they liked it, but I don't know what the general consensus is amongst the gamer community. But yeah, those are my general thoughts. And obviously, they left a cliffhanger, and I'm guessing there's going to be a season 2. I don't know if they've announced that yet or not. I haven't looked into that. But yeah, like I said, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was really well done. Like I said, I felt like if I wanted to dumb it down, the explanation of it was like essentially that they took all the bullshit out of The Walking Dead and kept like the good meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah, so like you said, the first thing with Joel and his daughter, that's not only was that very jarring and emotional in the show, but it is literally that in the game. It is just as jarring, just as emotional in the game. The scene is there's so many things that are very shot for shot in this show compared to the games, and that is just one of many that they was holding his daughter the exact same way. She got shot the exact same way. All of those events happened pretty much the exact same. They actually gave a little bit more, like with Sarah, his daughter. They gave her a little bit more time on screen. They that full hour, like when you play the game, you can
Yeah.
do that in maybe like 20 minutes. That's like the first 20 minutes, but that's like a full hour episode, and they gave her more time. And that's just been the theme with the show. There's some things that they just took from the games and decided to focus on so much and give more time to. Uh, Frank and Bill are one of those things, which I will come back to them shortly. But um, I am someone, like I said, like I've said, I've played these games. There's two games. I've played both of them. I love them. The first game is it's considered one of the greatest games ever, without any exaggeration. It really is. So taking that story and adapting it here on HBO Max, it worked out so well. And again, having Neil Druckmann, who's creator of The Last of Us, work directly on this show is one of the reasons why it turned out so well, because you have all of these environments that look like they were plucked directly from the game, all of the weathering and all of like all of the foliage and stuff like that, the way the buildings look inside and outside, and all of these different scenes is look like almost shot for shot straight out of the game, just like a realistic version. It is real. This is the real life version of this game. And to make the Walking Dead comparison, I'm glad you said that because I was going to go there myself, but in a slightly different way. So yeah, I was trying to sell this to my mom, say, hey, you should watch this, because she and I used to watch The Walking Dead together. We
Mhm.
don't watch TV shows together very often, but we used to watch The Walking Dead together because it was awesome. Up until maybe a couple seasons in, and it just got a little boring. But we used to watch it together. She loved it, and one of the things she loved was all of the different zombies and the different body horror, I suppose is a good way to put it. But the Walking Dead itself, both the comic and the show, is a show about how a group of individuals that are very different, that had their own lives before the pandemic happened, but how they are surviving together in this post-apocalyptic zombie world, and how the world, the zombies, interact with them and how they react to them, as well as people on the outside reacting to them. So it's not a show specifically about these group
Right.
of people killing zombies, about this group of people surviving and interacting in a zombie world. That's how I would describe The Walking Dead. That being said, when you watch The Walking Dead, you don't see zombies all the time. Um,
Yeah.
though typically there would be like one kind of glory kill every episode just to keep some people interested and show some blood and gore. But for the most part, the rest of the 50 minutes of The Walking Dead would be all of the different characters interacting and their
Yeah.
relationships,
But
either
and a lot of not
blossoming
even
or go ahead.
yeah, well, I was gonna say not even like a lot of it turned into not even compelling way interacting. It was a lot of dullness for long portions of the episode. Like that's what I mean. Like
Yeah,
not
yeah.
to say like there's constant actions in The Last of Us. I felt like there's more compelling. Like even when the characters interacting, like the episode where Ellie and her friend where they're interacting, there's not a lot of action happening, but it's very compelling. Like why they show that relationship and what makes uh what like how Ellie's past and whatever have you, but it's compelling. It's I guess that's what I meant like when I say they cut out like the dullness, the BS of The Walking
Hmm.
Dead and make it look more like I said interesting in that sense and more like it's I want to keep watching the show, not like man, what's going on, man? This is dragging. It's like if I'm making a little bit more sense there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I'm just saying they put in The Walking Dead, they put in at least one kind of gory, violent kill
Right.
thing per episode just to keep people's interest, because the rest of the episodes there was either character development and significant things happening, or pretty much like I said, they're just kind of dragging it along and not really doing anything. And at least that one really cool kill kept people watching, and up until the end when something actually happened. In this show, although I do personally wish they had more infected and more clickers in this show. Like, this was really cool scene, and there was a lot of stuff going on. There really wasn't a whole lot of them in the show, but to defend the show, there wasn't a whole lot in the games either, because the whole point of the game is Joel's gone through this traumatic event, and he's living in this post-apocalyptic world full of all of these infected creatures and people trying to survive. And he's tasked with taking Ellie across the country to go to the Fireflies to find a cure. And the show and the games about the journey of these two people who don't know each other. One's a grown adult and one's a little kid that's immune, and they have to cross the country. And it's about those two and their relationship. It's not about killing a bunch of infected or zombies or whatever. It's not an action. It's a game that has action in it, but it's not an action game, that if that makes sense. So I do wish there were more infected and there was more action, but the actual story of the game and the story of the show was incredibly well done. It's a great story, and these characters are very well portrayed and very well acted, very well scripted, very well shot, and so on. So even though I do, because I want to see more of them because they looked so great, um, they didn't feel like although they didn't feel like a huge threat because they weren't so prevalent in the show. And that's my only real gripe there, because in the games you do have those enemies infected, but there's also like normal people, which they are also in this show. But for what it's worth, you have like the cultist leader, and you have um, the people that were trying to find Henry and Sam and stuff like that. But they didn't feel as threatening to Joel and Ellie as they did in the game. So they were just kind of like, for that episode, they were good, but they didn't feel like a threat to Joel and Ellie. Neither did the infected. It just, and then that could just be a personal take of mine, but they were there and they were still told really good stories. I really appreciated also. You all mentioned also with Riley and that story. This the story between Riley and Ellie took place before the game, like story wise, and before the show. Like, this is like the prequel, but the actual part of that game came out after the game was finished, and it was a DLC for the game. So what's interesting, when you play that DLC section, there aren't any infected until till the end. It is literally just playing a game that has story, and it's such a great story, but it's actually fun DLC to play because they did it in the show where they have like the different masks on. They're playing in the Halloween store. There's parts of the game that they didn't put in there. There's a where they're throwing bricks at cars and stuff. They didn't put that in the show, but they're just like having fun in the mall. You know, the photo booth and stuff like that, and you're just really getting to know their relationship and seeing how close and good friends they are, just like in the show. And then at the end, it's all taken away with the infected coming in and attacking, and Riley um, dying, and Ellie finding out that she was immune. Um, that's just like the game, and it's lots of stories like that. So it was really well done, and I really appreciated all of that. Um, I don't know. Again, I figure you probably don't know, but there were some really cool Easter eggs. Um, one of which during that, the cultists, one of like that episode with the cultists, so it basically featuring Ellie. One of the guys that was just kind of assisting him was played by Troy Baker, and Troy Baker is the performance and voice actor for Joel in the game.
Oh, interesting.
So he was able to actually be a part of the show in a small way, but still, he was the one. He got stabbed in the neck and died later on in the episode, but he was able to contribute to this, as well as Ashley Johnson, who
Who is
played
doing a
who's
bunch of
actually
stuff.
she plays Ellie in the video games. She is the voice and
Oh,
performance actress
interesting.
for Ellie in the video games, but she played Ellie's mother in the show,
Right.
which is also new. Ellie's mother and her whole parents are not at all mentioned in the games ever. So
Okay.
this is actually new things that they put into the show, which I thought was really great, especially for this, because one, it gave us more background on Ellie. Like, we actually see her mother and the circumstances behind um, Ellie's birth, but also why she's immune. Because in the games, that's also never explained, that she's just immune. She just is in the game. But the
Yeah.
whole her mother giving birth to Ellie while being attacked by an infected, and having the umbilical cord, having to like cut it whilst like right before too much of the infection got spread, but some of it still did through the umbilical cord. So that's why Ellie has some. I think it was. I didn't get like the full explanation, but some of the cordyceps went through and got to Ellie, but not enough for her to be fully infected, but enough that her body was able to basically adapt to it. And now, whenever an infection tries to take place in her body, there's already cordyceps there. So it's just like, hey, we're good. We don't need any more. You stay there. And they're just like, okay, we're cool. We're not gonna spread. And so she's able to stay immune because of her body adapting to the little bit that she had when she was born. So I thought that was really a good way to try to explain that, because again, it was not at all in the games whatsoever. Uh, how familiar are you with Ashley Johnson? Did you
Yeah,
do you know?
she played Chrissy in Growing Pains. She's been in a bunch of other stuff like shows. I know she was in the Avengers. She plays the
Right,
waitress
right.
in Avengers that Captain America saves, or
Hmm.
Steve Rogers saves. But yeah, she's been like a bunch of different things.
Yeah, that's what I want to bring up. Her being in an Avengers movie, in her first movie, which I haven't watched in a long time. I need to get around to it. I used to watch this movie all the time. I said a couple times before, I was a huge Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. I used to watch Lionheart literally all the time, like
That's
on
right, Lionheart. She's in
VHS.
that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and her, that curly-haired little girl, is Ashley Johnson here. And when I found that out like a couple years ago, I was like, "Holy crap, dude!" I used to watch that movie all the time. But yeah, so she did a good job for the limited spot that she was here as well. Another big change that they did was Frank and Bill. Um,
Hmm.
so again, Bill is in the game, and you do meet him relatively similarly. Actually, no, they changed that too, for the most part, because they just went straight into Frank and Bill, and they gave them an entire episode. When in the games, when we meet Bill, Frank is already dead, and we don't even know anything about that relationship toward until like the last couple of conversations you have with Bill, because you go on a little hunt and then you stumble upon Frank's dead body, and Joel doesn't know who this person is. He's just dead. I won't get too descriptive there, but he's just dead. And then Bill can identify him, say, "That's Frank. I know him. We were very close." And that's about all that you get in the game. We never even see Frank's face in the game at all. But here,
Hmm.
not only you see his face, we get a whole backstory between the two. They get a whole entire episode and explain They die under different circumstances here than to the games, but them getting such a huge expansion and telling such a really incredible story for just 1 hour is pretty crazy. But I think that was fairly well received, even though that's definitely, even Neil Druckmann said that's the biggest change from the game is that episode, because Frank, again, you don't never even see Frank's face, and you go from it being mentioned in a 2-minute conversation to having a whole 60-minute episode dedicated to just them is pretty big change. But Neil said if they're going to make a change from the game, it needs to be better. It can't just be as good or worse. It needs to be better, and that was definitely one of those things that I think was better.
Oh yeah, I mean that was interesting. Like they show, it was really cool to see like even in a dystopian world, like two people are able to have a full life together because
Yeah.
essentially they do.
Hmm.
Even they have a full life together. So that was kind of cool. To see that their little area that they've created, um, or he created, Bill, um, was able to over like essentially outlast everything, and he was like one of those crazy what do you call it, uh, doomsday preppers probably.
Yeah.
So he had everything, sent, so he was able to survive the entire zombie apocalypse essentially. So yeah, that was a really good episode, fun, well done. Like I said, like I just found like it's a lot more compelling stuff, right? Like even that episode, and really, it's not a lot of action going on. I mean, there's later in in the episode where you see, well, not later, midway maybe, they see when those people are trying to come in um, um, to their grounds or whatever. So that's action there, and then, um, but like I said, it's just it's just compelling. Like even the interactions are like not, it's not dull. It's not like, okay, what's going on here? I'm like falling asleep. Like,
Mhm.
let's go, let's do something. So yeah, like I said, I just enjoyed like every episode had something really good that not only interests you for like 5 minutes and interests you throughout the episode. So yeah, it's like I said, and I really enjoyed the show. Um, any final thoughts on this as we wrap up?
Yeah, they are working on season two because there is a second game that came out a
Mhm.
couple of years ago. The voice and performance um, actress for a character called Abby was actually in the
Mhm.
season finale, the last episode of The Last of Us. She was one of the nurses. When Ellie
Yeah.
was on the bed and they had two nurses. So she had the mask on and the stuff like that. But that was her Easter egg. She was able to actually be in the show for just that moment. But I do wonder if they could bring her back and actually play a role in season two just without all that stuff, since she was so covered, you can't really see her face, so she can play like another role. But like I said, they are making a season two. Um, Abby is one of the characters that is very important in the second game. I won't spoil anything for you since you haven't played that, but she is a very important character, one of the main characters of the second game, and she is really big and buff. So I expect
Mhm.
um, someone to be pretty muscular and buff to play Abby. But I've seen people talk about, darn, I can't think of her name right now, but the new Black Widow, the one that's Yelena Belova. Um,
Mhm.
a lot of people want her to play Abby, and that wouldn't be too
Florence
bad.
Florence Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh, yeah, there you go. A lot of people want her to do that, just like fan casting and stuff like that. There hasn't been any announcements on that, but they are working on another season in the very least. I don't think this is the type of show that they try to extend past the game and do more than that. We don't even know if there's going to be a third game because they can end it where they did, but they can also go further if they really want to and make another third game. So we'll see. But I'm
Cool.
excited. I don't know when the third season or second season is going to drop, but that's the other thing because there's a big time gap between the first and second game where Ellie is a couple years older. So she's like taller and leaner. So Bella Ramsey, who did a great job in the show, um, I don't remember how old she is, but I don't know if they're gonna wait for her to age up some and see if she gets a little taller, or because even Ellie also, she's leaner and she has a little bit more like not big strong muscle, but she just has more lean muscle and she's been around in that world. She's not a little teenager anymore. So I wonder if
Bella
they're gonna
Ramsey's
wait.
only yeah, Bella Ramsey's only 19, so she's not
Okay.
much older than what she's supposed to be in the show.
Right, right. Like Ellie in part two is about that age, but obviously Bella had to play a 14-year-old, so
Mhm.
maybe waiting a few years, maybe telling her to, lift a little weights and get a little more toned and see if you can make yourself look
That's
older.
true.
Um,
That's true.
yeah, we'll see how that works out. But yeah, again, she did a great
Um,
job. I love Pedro Pascal as well.
yeah, Pedro
Yeah,
Pascal is awesome. Yeah, it's like I said, I recommend watching this as well. But yeah, it's a wrap for today's episode. If you missed any previous episodes of ours, you can find us under the Barroom Network on YouTube and all major and minor podcast platforms. Please obviously continue to check out all the other great shows the Barroom has to offer, covering all the Chicago sports teams and various other topics. But yeah, that's it for us tonight. For Carl and myself, we'll see you guys next time.
peace.